Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Puri Brajakacharya Ashtotar Sata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mayi Ki Jai Jamuna Mayi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, and welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. It is Monday, December 30th, 2024 in New York, and we're picking up today with Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, 8th chapter, text number 66. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So these verses are Maharaj Uttanapad speaking to Narada Muni. Apyanatam vane brahman masmadantyarbakam rikaha Shrantang shayanang kshudhitam parimlana mukham bhujam. My dear Brahmana, the face of my son was just like a lotus flower. I am thinking of his precarious condition. He is unprotected and he might be very hungry. He might have lain down somewhere in the forest and the wolves might have attacked him to eat his body. Aho me batadoratmyang strijitasyo padharaya yonkang premnarurukshantang nabhyanandam asantamaha. Alas, just see how I was conquered by my wife. Just imagine my cruelty. Out of love and affection, the boy was trying to get up on my lap, but I did not receive him, nor did I even pat him for a moment. Just imagine how hard-hearted I am. Narada uvacha mama shucha satanayang devaguptang vishampate tat prabhavam avigyaya pravrinkte yadyasho jagat. The great sage Narada replied, My dear king, please do not be aggrieved about your son. He is well protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although you have no actual information of his influence, his reputation is already spread all over the world. Purport: sometimes when we hear that great sages and devotees go to the forest and engage themselves in devotional service or meditation, we become surprised. How can one live in the forest and not be taken care of by anyone? But the answer, given by a great authority, Narad Muni, is that such persons are well protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sharanagati, or surrender, means acceptance or firm belief that wherever the surrendered soul lives, he is always protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is never alone or unprotected. Dhruva Maharaja's affectionate father thought his young boy, only 5 years old, to be in a very precarious position in the jungle. But Narada Muni assured him, You do not have sufficient information about the influence of your son. Anyone who engages in devotional service anywhere within this universe is never unprotected. Oma Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I can't give a source for this quote, but I've heard that worry is a sign of lack of faith in God, and that's what Maharaj Uttanapad is displaying here. And you can imagine that Narada Muni might be slightly amused since he knows the actual situation. In the verse for which we just read the purport, he says, Ma, do not be aggrieved. So he has information the king does not. And the main information, as Prabhupada says, is that he's well protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You think, in a completely materialistic way, that he's just there by himself, some young boy, by your calculation. That's what you imagine the reality to be. But the actual reality is another level up. It's another dimension beyond your ability to imagine. And the Supreme Lord takes care of not only your son, but of all devotees. He says anywhere in the universe. Um, I'm reminded of a exchange with Srila Prabhupada that has sometimes been cited in these classes, that Prabhupada was speaking with a young mother who had, for whatever reason, just lost her husband. She was considering remarrying, and Prabhupada was asking her why. She was there with her brother as well. Some other devotees were in the room. And her answer was that, well, I need protection, Srila Prabhupada. And from what I understand, his eyes widened. He said, you think you are not protected? And then he turned to everyone in the room. You think you are not protected? You think you are not protected? Just see the lack of faith. So what Prabhupada is trying to instill in us here is that for a devotee, there is no worry, there is no fear, there is no lack of protection. The Supreme Lord makes arrangements. If you take care of Krishna's business, he will take care of yours. And that's what Dhruva Maharaj is doing. I found it also curious that, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions this also, that Narada Muni says, his fame is spread all over the world. What does he say? The universe. His fame is already spread all over the world. You have no information of his influence. So we might think, well, how is this possible? Who knows about this? But there are airways more subtle than those used by the internet and Google search engines that enable persons who, on a need-to-know basis, need to know these things. So the king was apparently not signed into this network. Narada was, and he was giving information that the king didn't have. What does Srila Vishwanath say in this connection? He says that do not lament at all. This is his commentary. He is living, his greatness unknown, his fame will spread. The verb is in the present tense, since the fame will happen in the near future. So, Hare Krishna. Maharaj, would love to hear your comments if you have some on this verse.
I was a little distracted because I got bumped off the internet and just got back. Now are we? Okay.
Please excuse me for saying so, Maharaj, but the connection seems very tenuous on your end. You're coming through. Okay, maybe you switched cameras.
Yeah, I switched cameras, but I don't know. This connection seems quite dodgy.
Now we're hearing and seeing you very clearly right now.
Okay, but it froze on this same connection froze on me a minute ago. So, are we on 68 or 69 now?
We've just read the purport to 68, and that's where we paused.
Okay. But I missed your comments. I'm sorry about that. I was, just trying to get back on. So at a risk of being redundant, surrender means, in part, Rakshasyati Vishvaso Bhoktritve Varanam Tata, that Krishna will maintain me and Krishna will protect me. So we don't believe that. We think that maybe there's some well, yes, I believe it, but in terms of actually doing it, I think, well, that's extreme, and well, I don't know, and so on. Well, Shonak, we're serious business here, but I'll tell a joke that I heard from Shonak Rishi Prabhu. That there was, maybe you've heard, there was some man who fell off a cliff, and on the way down, fortunately, there was like some root, some scrub brush, something. He grabbed onto it, and he's hanging on for dear life. And he calls out, "I'm a good person. I've is there anyone up there?" Looks to the heavens. Is there anyone there? And he hears a great voice from the sky saying, "Do not fear, for I shall extend my hand, and you will be protected." Is there anyone else up there? Frozen again. Is there a way that I can knock out all images coming in on my side? I don't think there is. Okay, and if I do that, though, also I can't see when people freeze. That's my only sign that my internet connection is not working. Probably the best thing, well, what to do? Maybe I'll leave it at that, or just say that in this way we have a anyway, a sannyasi or a surrendered person has to think, Krishna will protect me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right away, we have a question from Morai Gupta Prabhu. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please can you clarify what protection means? Because devotees die in circumstances similar to non-devotees, such as car and plane accidents, diseases, violence, etc.
Yeah, if Krishna wants to protect me, no one can kill me. If Krishna wants to kill me, no one can protect me. It doesn't mean that I'll be immortal, that my body will be impregnable. Therefore, I have no difficulty.
If I could just extend Morai Gupta Prabhu's question, what is the nature of the protection that Krishna gives, if not to render us immortal in the material world?
Well, we don't need to be rendered immortal. We are immortal, but the just like an orphan has no protection, no nothing. He's just lost, and this son, even son of the king, he's protected, but still he may be punished. He may be. That's also my father's punishing me. My father's being mean to me. But finally, it's a sign of the affectionate protection of the father, even if he gives me a hard time sometimes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So then, just it comes down again to Tenu Kampam Susamikshamano, then, that someone in the proper consciousness will see that no matter what happens, that such a person sees that as the curative treatment from the hand of the Lord, and that is the protection that they seek. That the real protection is one of for their Krishna consciousness.
Yes. And the ultimately I'm protected. Whether Krishna seems to be kind or Krishna seems to be unkind, actually he's always being kind. That's the actual situation.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. All right. Any other comments or questions here before moving on? Madhupati Prabhu is here. I was going to see if he could read our next text, or yes, text number 69 has a purport. Would you be able to read that, Prabhu?
Okay. 69, right? Yeah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhuttale Kurutas Jayadvaita Swami. Yuduskaram karma kritva lokapalai api prabhu aishyati achirato rajan yasho vipulayam tava. Translation. My dear king, your son is very competent. He will perform activities which would be impossible even for great kings and sages. Very soon he will complete his task and come back home. You should know that he will also spread your reputation all over the world. Here in this verse, Narad Muni has described Dhruva Maharaj as Prabhu. This word is applicable to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes the spiritual master is addressed as Prabhupada. Prabhu means the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Pad means post. According to Vaishnava philosophy, the spiritual master occupies the post of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or in other words, he is a bona fide representative of the Supreme Lord. Dhruva Maharaj is also described here as Prabhu because he is an Acharya of the Vaishnava school. Another meaning of Prabhu is master of the senses, just like the word Swami. Another significant word is Shuduskaram, very difficult to perform. What was the task that Dhruva Maharaj undertook? The most difficult task in life is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Dhruva Maharaj would be able to do that. We must remember that Dhruva Maharaj was not fickle. He was determined to execute his service and then come back. Every devotee, therefore, should be determined that in this life he will be able to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by that process, go back home, back to Godhead. That is the perfection of the highest mission of life. Om Jnanatimandasya Jnananjana Sulakaya Chakshunatan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Yeah. So here Narad Muni, is mentioning to Uttanapad, the father of Dhruva Maharaj, and pacifying him that your son is very competent. As he knows that with full determination, Dhruva Maharaj is executing the instruction given by Narad Muni to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And saying his determination, he was confident that he will be able to fulfill the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Utsahan nishchayat dhairya tat tat karma pravartana. There's a sign that always being enthusiastic in serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, patient and with full determination, nishchayat, full determination. One can satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Also, it says one who satisfies the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to him automatically all the purpose of the Vedic literature are revealed. So yeah, and then Srila Prabhupada is elaborating on this word Prabhu used by Narad Muni for Dhruva Maharaj, where he's mentioning that he's applicable to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the spiritual master is addressed as Prabhupada, means the post of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and spiritual master is respected as Sakshat Dharitvana Samasta Sastra Yukta Tatha Bhaveteva Sadhi, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he's respected as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As only through him one can know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Maharaj, any comments here?
Yes. You show Vipuli Amstava. He'll come back in the near future, and he'll spread your reputation all over the world. This is a theme we find in many places in the Bhagavad Gita. Sabhavatasya chakirtir maranadatiricite. This concern about reputation. If you flee the battlefield, you'll lose your reputation. Or on the other side, if you act properly, your fame will be everywhere. Krishna, when he went with Bhim and Arjun to meet Jarasandha, and was begging in the guise of a Brahmin, we want to beg something from you. Then Krishna gave that argument that great kings, Maharaj Shibi and others, gained eternal reputation by their charity. So, and Chanakya says, if there's one fragrant flower in the forest, then the fragrance spreads everywhere. So if there's one good son in the family, then the family's reputation spreads in every direction. So Narada assures the king, and especially a king, a leader, a king, a sannyasi, anyone of yes, in position of leadership particularly. So much depends on their reputation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanyasira Pachidra Sarvaloke guy. He stopped seeing one. He was showing great affection to a young boy who was coming to see him every day. But then when he heard from Jagadananda Pandit that this boy was the son of a very beautiful young widow, and that everyone would be talking about this, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered him, don't come, or ordered his associates, don't let him come. So in that way, looking to his reputation, Lord Ramchandra also, there's some gossip in the kingdom, so he gave up his wife. So this concern is there in Vedic culture for protecting one's reputation, or for gaining reputation. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, if one has the reputation of being a devotee of Krishna, that's the best reputation. So in any case, best reputation or material reputation, spiritual reputation, this theme of being ready to put aside other advantages for the sake of one's reputation is here. And of course, so much of it, so often, we're conscious of that, our reputation. We want to do everything for our reputation. We may be scoundrels, and we may want to continue to act as scoundrels, but we'll do something. We'll pay people to falsely spread our reputation, or we'll be very keen that this is my goal, to be famous, to have a great reputation. So all of these things are there. But again, our idea is, Prabhupada said, we don't care, but let us have recognition from Krishna. This person has done some service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you. Saraswati Mata says, Pranams Param Puja Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. Ramananda Roy said, the most famous and glorious persons in the world are devotees of Krishna.
Yes.
And Praveen Krishna Prabhu quotes, Shukla Vastre Masi Bindu Yache Na Lukaya, Sanyasira Alpa Chidras Sarvalokagaya. As soon as the general public finds a little fault in the behavior of a sannyasi, they advertise it like wildfire. A black spot of ink cannot be hidden on a white cloth. It is always very prominent. In case you might want to further comment, Maharaj, one thing I noticed about this verse is that Prabhupada says, we must remember that Dhruva Maharaj was not fickle. He was determined. And he says every devotee should be determined that he will be able to satisfy the Lord and go back to Godhead. I was thinking about the Manahi Chanchala Astiram, that the mind is very fickle, and that's the tendency of the mind, but we have this practice of chanting, and if we're supposed to do it with attention, and if we do that, then that's supposed to satisfy the Lord.
That's intensity. When our mind is going here and there, that's distracted chanting, that's offensive chanting. But when we're focused, when we're determined to keep the mind fixed on Krishna, to go on hearing the mantra, then that becomes intensity. That long-term continued intensity has great power. We'll see later, by that intensity, yes, Dhruva means determined, and we'll see by that intensity what Dhruva is able to accomplish.
And just another Srila Vishwanath's the translation of his verse, the same verse. He says, O king, after performing tasks difficult even for the devatas, Dhruva will soon return, spreading your fame everywhere. Yeah. Impossible for great kings and sages and demigods.
Yes.
Any other comments or questions here before we go? Madhupati Prabhu says, Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, the word Prabhu is explained here for a person on a very high platform. How did it get used for each devotee in ISKCON?
Well, Prabhu has, of course, from one point of view, every devotee, what is that? Ye bhaje she bhara. In Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anyone who's engaged in the service of Krishna is great. They may even be a small, person, insignificant in terms of the institutional hierarchy. But anyone who's engaged in the service of Krishna, Jai Bhaja, Shebada, he's great. So that's one answer. Another answer is that compared to me, everyone is great. This is the mentality of a devotee, not that I'm great and who is this person, who's that person, but compared to me, everyone is great. Everyone is my Prabhu. Of course, it came because Prabhupada taught us this. He everything taught us how to address the other devotees as Prabhu, and he told us we should do that. Just think for a second. Another thought came, so this one's escaping me. Let's see if I can get it back. Yeah, Prabhu has different meanings also. Prabhu means God. Prabhu means master. Prabhu means husband. So my Prabhu isn't home now. Doesn't mean that God is left. It means my husband is not home. So that meaning of Prabhu also. The or great devotee Sanatana Goswami Prabhu, the author of Brihad Bhagavatamrita. But Prabhupada, I should say that Prabhupada, as far as I've been able to determine, didn't teach the devotees to address the ladies as Prabhu. That's not consistent with what's done in Vaishnava society or even Hindu society generally. There are maybe 4 letters where Prabhupada speaks about this lady Prabhu or that lady Prabhu, but they're all written within a short period of time, with close to one another, and they're all typed by the same person. The same typist's initials are there, so one suspects that this is a secretarial artifact, because at least I never heard Prabhupada speak of any of the ladies as Prabhu, or recommend that we address the ladies as Prabhu. Of course, it's a masculine pronoun, and it does sound strange. Radharani Prabhu is very odd. So the ladies should be respected, certainly, but that wasn't the way, as far as I've seen, that Prabhupada taught us to offer respect. That's the little mini essay on Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Murari Gupta Prabhu writes, protecting our reputation can be stressful if it is not fully justified. What is better, being honest or trying to live up to the ideal?
They're not incompatible. That either I'll be honest or I'll try to live up to the ideal. We may do both. We may do both to admit our shortcomings and try to live up to the ideal. Not that we should be a society of bluffers, that because we're trying to live up to the ideal, we hide our sinful activities and pretend to be something that we're not. That's not recommended. On one side, humility, and then on the other side, despite all my shortcomings, despite all my impious activities in the background of my life, still I want to serve Krishna. Praveen can probably find that verse by Madhavendra Puri, that despite all I'm not even born in a good family, I have all these shortcomings, but still I won't budge from the determination to serve the personality of Godhead, even though I'm unfit to do it. There's a prayer like that. So we may be, yes. So honesty on the one side, or humility on the other, on that side, and at the same time determination. That still somehow I have to, however unfit I am, let me try to do some service. Also, I should mention, just from a cultural point of view, it seems to be a feature of Western culture, especially, that we want whatever Bhakta Ross has done, everybody has to know about it. Come clean, Ross. Admit this, admit that, admit this, admit that. You did this, you did that. We know about this. And honesty in Western culture, you've got to come out with it all. Otherwise, you're not, a decent person. And we get, that's like a big issue. But in other cultures, there's, what should we say? There's the understanding that we try to give people the opportunity to save face, that we don't just seek to extract the maximum shame and make it impossible for that person to do anything, make it impossible for that person to serve, or impossible for, just to do anything but die. Even though we may know that this person has done something wrong, it may not be our duty to broadcast it. Prabhupada gave that example was there. One of our leading GBC men, in fact, had some spiritual trouble. He got in difficulty with a woman. And then some other sannyasis broadcast it. And Prabhupada was not at all pleased. Prabhupada was furious that now you've made it impossible for him to come back. So there's this clash or tension between these two ideas. The one idea that, everybody has to know everything, and, everybody's got to fess up and come out with it. And then on the other side, this sense that, all right, still we should give this person some room, that it's not our duty to broadcast every one of his faults, or to even his great faults. Because we know dishonor is worse than death. So do we want to kill this person, or do we want him somehow to continue? That's not to say that we cover up wrongdoing in such a way that we expose others to harm. That's a different thing. Someone's a child molester, and we don't want his reputation to be spoiled, so we cover it up and let him go on abusing children. That's reprehensible. But in ordinary dealings, or in lesser affairs, we still give some consideration. Do we want to ruin this person's reputation? Will that help his devotional life? Will that help our community's devotional life? Do we want to live in a community where the standard principle is that as soon as we catch someone doing something, then he has to be shamed before everyone? That may not be, that's not there in as a principle of Vedic culture. Am I right about that?
Every word.
Madhupati, in Indian culture, am I being consistent there?
Yes, Kamaraj.
Murari Gupta Prabhu writes, "Thank you, Maharaj. Praveen Krishna Prabhu writes, did Prabhupada say anything about how to address women?
Well, he said mother. The Of course, there, if I'm remembering a quote, he said any unknown woman, mother, Mataji. Then he asked, someone said like Rukmini Mataji, probably said no, just Mataji. So that's there. He addressed the ladies often by their first name, Malati, Govindasi, and so on. I once did a search, and there's lots of letters where Prabhupada addresses or refers to men as such and such Prabhu. I agree with Prabhu. There's even a Jayadvaita Prabhu. If you do what they call a proximity search, you look for Prabhu and a man's name within, say 10 words of one another, you'll find lots of such Prabhus. And if you do the same search for as many ladies' names as you can think of, you'll come up again with those maybe 4 letters. So I don't see that. I think I may have mentioned here that I asked Bhakti Charamaj about how they address the ladies or speak about ladies in Gaudiya Math. Did I speak about that in this class? No. I had the thought that, we should ask someone in Gaudiya Math how they speak about the ladies. And then I was in D-Lands and with Bhakti Charamaj, I thought, why do I have to go to Gaudiya Math? I could ask Bhakti Charamaj. So I did. And he thought about it for a few moments. First thing he said, well, they don't have many ladies in Gaudiya Math. They don't stay in the ashram, and there's not, the sannyasis and so on don't interact very much with the ladies, hardly at all. But then he said, some term indicating mother. And he gave the example of Pishima, Srila Prabhupada's sister. And she had several sons, and one son was Govinda. And this son got some, very serious disease. I forget whether it was cholera or something, one of those things people die from. And she just, she didn't take him to the doctor, didn't give him this medicine or that medicine. She just, it was just the holy name and Charanamrita. And the child survived. So after that, in Gaudiya Math, they referred to her as Govindara Ma, the mother of Govinda. She had other sons, but they referred to her as Govindara Ma. The principle is that the ladies should always be respected. In the Bible, also honor thy mother and thy father. So of course, in the West in modern days, we don't honor our mothers either. Sally, get off my back? That's how we speak to our mothers in America. So it's so rude and uncouth. But in proper society, the mother is given so much respect. So the ladies should be respected on the level of mother. Hare Krishna.
Panchatapa Prabhu writes, we want to try everyone in the court of public opinion without considering that there may be proper authorities to deal with such matters.
Yeah, on the internet makes it like a national pastime.
Murari Gupta Prabhu wrote, very much so. Praveen Krishna Prabhu writes, If some discrepancy happens within the village elders make arrangements so that the person is not prone to commit the same mistake again, without taking him to court, thinking him as our own man. But if it's out of control, then court.
Yeah, yeah, okay. There was some comment about dignity there.
Yeah.
Flashed across my screen.
Murari Gupta Prabhu writes, the British used to allow a disgraced person a little dignity to do the honorable thing, which could mean resign, leave, or even suicide. I don't know if that still holds in the present times.
I don't know about the British military, but that's another thing, that an honorable person who's done wrong should, being an honorable person, he may step down, he may step aside. I just heard from some devotees in Spain were telling me there was some, I don't know, he was a sports leader or some, very prominent person in his circle. And there was some, I don't even know if he did something wrong, but something happened on his watch or what have you. And he stepped down. So that's also honorable. That even if I wasn't directly the perpetrator, even if it happened on my watch and I should have done something and didn't, then I resign. No, I failed to carry out this duty. So that's also for an honorable person, that's a very honorable way to act. That no, I did the wrong thing. Let me resign. Or even these days, they of course it's a little weaselly sometimes, but they talk about the appearance of impropriety. They don't, of course, not always, but sometimes they'll say that someone's actions gave the appearance of impropriety. Means they damn well know that he did terrible things, but it's framed in that way, that his activities had the appearance of impropriety, and therefore he's been asked to resign. So on the one side, giving the person little some space to save face, and on the other side, being honorable. That if I just like Arjuna, he vowed that he would save the sons of the son of the Brahmin. The next time his wife gives birth, I'll protect the child, or I'll commit suicide. So then when he failed to protect the child, then he was ready to do it. He didn't look for excuses and say, well, what could you expect? My weapons suddenly disappeared. Otherwise, I was fully competent, so it's not my fault. No, I failed. I promised. I failed. I'm committing suicide. Who was that? The Rukmi, the sister of brother of Rukmini. He vowed that I'll win back my sister. You'll see. Otherwise, I'll never enter my capital city again. And he failed, of course. He couldn't defeat Krishna. So then he went and lived in a village somewhere and did tapasya. He didn't make excuses that, well, it was Krishna, this or that. What could you expect? Balaram helped him. No. He did it. All right, I failed. Then this is what I deserve. So as they say, takes it on the chin. Or from another point of view, even a person suffers some reverses and he takes it that it must have been due to my sinful activities, some unknown sinful activities. Yes. Let me take responsibility for my own wrongdoings, my own consequences, which is hard, which is why when a person does that, there's some that's respectable, worthy of respect. Hare Krishna.
Saraswati Mataji writes, we see in the name of family honor, one orders honor killings, especially of daughters, or sons are banished and disowned. These punishments leave no door open for any rectification or repentance, and the punished person is often left in a state of broken trust in future relationships.
Yeah. Of course, I'm not the person to sit and say that, to sit in judgment of how things are done in every cultural circle. But that's also there sometimes, that for the honor of the family, someone is banished or what have you. And sometimes that's misused also.
Thank you, Maharaj. We're at the top of our hour. I was going to see if Panchatattva Prabhu is able to lead Kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa, Privrajagacharya Stotra Sata Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa, Privrajagacharya Stotra Sata Shri Srimad, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Brinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Girigovardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Brindi Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gora Premanande.
Hari Hari. Thank you so much, Panchatattva Prabhu. Praveen Krishna offers us the verse and translation Maharaj was seeking from Sri Madhavendra Puri. Sri Madhavendra Puri, a great devotee and acharya in the line of devotees, says, O Lord, in my prayers 3 times a day, all glory to you. O bathing, I offer my obeisances unto you. O demigods, O forefathers, please excuse me for my inability to offer you my respects. Now, wherever I sit, I am able to remember the great descendant of the Yadu dynasty, Krishna, the enemy of Kamsa, and therefore I can get myself free from all sinful bondage. I think this is sufficient for me. And he provides the verse later on. Thank you. Thank you for your kirtan, Prabhu. And thank you everyone for being here. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami ki jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai.
Yeah.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari 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 Bol.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Panchatattva Prabhu.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Sharada Hare Krishna. Thank you to all. Hare